Thank you, Presiding Officer. In securing this debate, Scottish Labour is confronting the crisis gripping the NHS in Scotland. A crisis that is not simply measured in statistics, but is felt in the lives of patients, nurses, doctors and families across our nation. We heard it clearly on the doorsteps and on the streets of Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse during the recent by-election. And I want to congratulate David Russell, Scottish Labour's winning candidate. And I know he's already working hard to represent his constituents in Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. And frankly, they, like people across Scotland, are sick of the excuses. This is the Scottish Parliament. I know there are very few SNP MPs left in the House of Commons, but that is the place to hold the UK Government to account. This is the Scottish Parliament. The NHS has devolved, and unlike the Greens, we will not let the SNP off the hook any longer, because as you heard the emotion in Jackie Bailey's voice, this is personal to every single one of us. We care about the staff, we care about our constituents, and we're not going to put up with complacency, and I will take the intervention.
Will the Labour government,
briefly.
Thank you. Will the Labour government be changing its policies on allowing asylum seekers to work and on hostility to immigrants to support the NHS in Scotland?
Through the Chair, Monica Lennon.
What I will say to Lorna Slater, she's made some relevant, important points as that of her contribution, but what she's failing to do is to address the purpose of this motion today, which is to take this opportunity in the chamber to hold this government to account for its broken promises. Because hold on a second, because I heard the Cabinet Secretary say, I hear the calls for workforce planning. I have been here for 9 years, and for even longer than that, the whole of the 18 years of this government, we've been calling for better workforce planning. Why can't this government do its job?
Cabinet Secretary, brief.
In our amendment, we set out the timescale for where that's going to be delivered. But I really resent, and Monica Lennon is better than this, to suggest that somehow that SNP ministers do not care or have the same care for our health service that brought my 4 children into this world, that saved the lives and improved the lives of my family members as well as everybody else across the chamber. I think we need a little bit more cross-party consensus as to our conjoint support for the health service, as opposed to what Monica Lennon has just suggested.
Monica Lennon,
I'm not going to take the patronising comments or the emotional blackmail from the Cabinet Secretary, because no one is doubting what's in his heart and his compassion, but it's about competence. Why has there been no proper workforce planning? That's what people were asking in the by-election, and that's what they're asking as we face the polls next year. I will admit I've got some skin in the game. My daughter today has successfully completed her first year as a medical student. My son-in-law is a resident doctor. We're not making these things up. You know, people are coming into the healthcare profession because they care, but the opportunities are not there. And that is the reality. So he can chunt it away all he likes, but we need to get solutions. And lastly, with the few seconds that I have left, one of the things that we heard clearly on the doorsteps in the by-election is that people are not going to stand for this government downgrading Wishaw's neonatal unit. That's why David Russell was elected. The staff have been ignored, the families have been ignored. The Cabinet Secretary can shake his head. I will take any intervention he wishes to make, but that is an absolute denial of an award-winning service for the most vulnerable and the sickest and the smallest babies in the country. Babies in Lanarkshire should not be getting sent away to Aberdeen for critical care at the most vulnerable time in their life. So that is the reality. That's not a UK government problem. That is the responsibility of this government, and we're not going to apologise for bringing these arguments to the chamber.